Loki is the brand new MCU show starring Tom Hiddleston, Owen Wilson, and hold on, I forget her name. Sophia Di Martino? Hope I said that correctly. This is a brand new MCU show on Disney Plus. Of course, Disney Plus is doing all the Marvel TV shows now. We've had WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and now Loki. So I actually did not review WandaVision or Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think I reviewed the first couple episodes of WandaVision in one of those short videos that I did, and I never reviewed Falcon and Winter Soldier, so let me just give you my quick thoughts on those. WandaVision, I actually was the one I was the least anticipated for. I did not think it really looked that good at all. And so far, out of the first two shows, WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier, I think it was the best out of those two shows. I was really surprised by that one. I liked it. I didn't love it. I had some problems with it, but I liked it. Falcon Winter Soldier, I was so excited for. But after watching that, I just was extremely disappointed with that. I thought it was way too all over the place. I really liked the first couple of episodes, and I just think after that, it just went all over the place. It was very inconsistent with its plot lines and its stuff like that. I was not a huge fan of that one. And actually, out of all those three, Loki was probably the one I was the most excited for. Probably went Loki, Falcon Winter Soldier close behind, and then WandaVision. So today I'm going to be reviewing Loki. I was going to review these each week, but I decided I'm just going to review it all as a season, so let's get started. First, I'm going to start with the things I really liked. And it's a lot of things. Tom Hiddleston, of course, is great. I always thought Loki was one of the best MCU villains, and that really stands true here. He's a standout in this. He's great as always, but I think everybody really expected that since that's how he is in all the other MCU stuff, and he really is great in this. Owen Wilson is also really good. I'm not the biggest fan of Owen Wilson. Don't like him in a lot of stuff, but I actually thought he was really good in this. He plays a lot of very over-the-top characters in a lot of movies he's in. Here, he was a little bit over the top in some elements, but I thought he was very well balanced and giving some more drama-heavy scenes with him. So I did appreciate his character a lot. He kind of played a little bit of a different character than he usually does in most things. I really enjoyed him in this. So the next character isn't in any of the trailers, and I guess this could kind of count as a spoiler if you don't want to know anything about the show. But I will discuss some spoilers in this, especially with the final episode. But there's the variant Loki, the female. I forget what her name is. Actually, let me look that up again real quick. Slavai, I think that's how you say it. She was really good in this. You see a lot of the variant Lokis in episode 5. You see the alligator Loki, which I thought was really funny. There's that kid in episode 5, and then they have the older Loki with the original costume. I thought that was really cool. Overall, I like the kind of intrigue with the show. Like, what is the TVA? What are they doing? I kind of like the setup with it and how it's set up and stuff like that. It's a really intriguing, I think, kind of mystery to it. And you want to watch more to see what happens with that, so I really like that aspect of it. I will say, too, one of the things that I was most disappointed about with WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier was that, to me, it really didn't feel like it set up a lot for the MCU going forward. Of course, Falcon and Winter Soldier, they set up Sam as a new Captain America. WandaVision looks like it's going to tie into Doctor Strange. But to me, it really just didn't feel like much happened until the very end of those shows. I will say, it seems like Loki is doing the most out of all these shows for the setup going forward, especially in the last episode, which we'll talk about. But they do a lot of really interesting things, setting up multiple universes and multiverses. I think that's going to be really cool to see that going forward. However, this isn't a problem with the show. I am really worried about the MCU going forward with the multiverse, because to me, whenever you throw time travel and multiverse into a movie or a show, kind of messes with things. There's very few time travel movies that I actually like. Back to the Future, of course. A couple others. But it's just very hard to do time travel. It kind of confuses and messes with things. And although I loved Avengers Endgame, I did have a couple of problems with the time travel aspects of that. So I am very interested to see if they're going to be able to pull this multiverse and time travel and going back different dimensions and stuff like that. I hope they're going to be able to achieve that. And in this show, they do jump back and forth through different time periods, but it's not a whole lot. I mean, there is a lot of it, in very small doses. I'm very interested to see where they go with that. So I want to talk about one bad thing first, because I think I have to set this up. So I loved episodes 1 and 2. I thought they were a great setup. Episode 3, I know a lot of people say 2's the worst, but episode 3 I just felt was more of a filler episode. I really didn't think it went anywhere. I like the back and forth between Loki and the female Loki. I like that. And I will say, I think this has some of the best cinematography out of anything in the MCU. It's very well framed and shot. Very clever uses of camera work. So I do, especially on the train sequence, cinematography is really good. But I don't know, it's just that whole episode just felt kind of like a detour, and they just did it just to have an extra episode to add to this. It wasn't horrible or anything, but I just wasn't a fan of that. I liked episode 3 a lot, and I really liked episode 5. I thought it was a really good setup to a really great finale. And when I was watching episodes 1, 2, and a little bit hesitant during 3, because it was kind of a filler, but you might have to have a filler episode. And 4 and 5, which I really liked, I thought, okay, this might be my new favorite MCU show that they've had so far. Okay, so this is where the controversial opinions are going to start. I've been on Twitter and stuff like that, and everybody is saying episode 5 is, like, so great. There's so many great moments in it. It's one of the most epic things. I've literally heard that people have said episode 6. I've heard, like, people have said online, episode 6 is, like, one of the most epic things the MCU has done. And I got kind of excited to watch episode 6. I got spoiler, but I got spoiled online that, of course, Kang the Conqueror is in the episode. And I thought he was going to be more at the end of the episode, so I was kind of like, oh man, I got spoiled that. But he's actually the big part of the episode, so I was like, okay, at least it wasn't like, I mean, I guess it is a big spoiler, but I thought it was kind of going to be like an end credit tease. But I was really looking forward to it. I was like, okay, I've heard it opens a lot of doors for the MCU. So I watched it. Oh boy, okay. I don't know how to explain this. So if you loved episode 6, I mean, that's totally fine. You're entitled to your own opinion, I get it. I don't know. Episode 6, it just felt like the whole, I would say, I like the intrigue, the whole build-up for the first 5-7 minutes trying to beat up to Kang the Conqueror. I really liked that build-up, like kind of like that tension build-up. And I was like, oh shoot, it's Kang the Conqueror, because Kang the Conqueror, they're kind of saying they're going to, in this episode 2, and people were speculating, they're kind of going to make him the new, like, Thanos of this universe. Because it's like, okay, we're going to have a lot of setup for the MCU. This is the show that's going to be like, okay, this is the big setup for the rest of the MCU. And then Kang the Conqueror was on screen for probably about 5 minutes. And the whole episode just went downhill. No, not saying anything bad about the actor. I've actually heard no problems with the actor. The actor did a fine job and stuff like that. And the dialogue he was given, totally fine. I don't know. It's just the whole. Now he is a variant. So in this show, they have variants of different characters. The female Loki is a variant of Loki. I think they said this is a variant of Kang, and at the end of the episode they do kill him. So I was like, okay, so this isn't the Kang that's going to be in the big villain. And when I thought that, I was like, thank gosh for that, because the whole episode, he was so, like, the performance from him was, like, so off the walls, and like I said, nothing against the actor. I think it was mostly the writing and the direction. It was just way too over the top and stuff like that. And that, even with that wouldn't make this a bad episode. That's not the problem with this episode. The problem with this episode is, to me, is that it's just, everybody online saying, like, this is so epic, it sets up so many things. It really doesn't. I mean, the ending with the big twist that Kang rewrote kind of history and that he's the ruler now, I mean, like, I don't know. Also, what confuses me is that this takes place in 2012. This is Loki. I think this takes place in 2012, if I'm correct on that. If I missed something in the show, let me know down below. I might be wrong on that, but because the Loki's from 2012, so when he changes the world, it takes place in 2012. Also, they say in Endgame that the past doesn't affect the future. So, like I said, time travel always confuses me, and I think that's going to be kind of a big problem going forward. But anyway, so back to the actual episode. What I didn't understand was that for a big episode that everybody was saying it's a lot, and I mean a lot of exposition. It is a lot of Kang talking, explaining things, and that's most of the episode. It really didn't feel like anything that epic. He's just, to be fair, when he was explaining things and stuff like that, I was kind of, my problem with shows and movies is when they do exposition, you should never do exposition in large amounts. You can slowly do exposition here and there, but you also have to show the audience things. I mean, there are some movies and shows where a lot of exposition is completely fine, like a low budget indie film or something like that, because you mostly communicate through dialogue and stuff like that. But this is a big epic show, and just to me the last episode was just like, it was so much explaining and backstory of him and everything like that. It lost me, and I don't know, the last episode just didn't do it for me. Now, I do like at the end, I'm very intrigued that when Loki goes back to the TVA, it seems like, from what Owen Wilson and the female guard that you see through most of the show says, they don't know who Loki is when he comes back. And I like that idea because, although he changed, I guess because Kang the Conqueror changed reality, things are screwed up. But I think it'll be interesting because it does say they're going to do a season 2, kind of like trying to get them back on, Loki trying to communicate with them, and I think that could be interesting. But, I don't know, to me, the last episode, I was just not a fan of it. It lost me, and I was really liking the show up to that point, and I'm like, this is really good. It might be my favorite MCU show, but I'm not going to lie, I think I liked WandaVision more. And like I said, I thought WandaVision was going to be the worst show. I thought this was going to be the best show. This still isn't the worst. I still think Falcon and Winter Soldier was just a lot more all over the place in the mess. I thought this was a lot more contained, and I really liked it up until the last episode. And like I said, so I didn't like 2 episodes. So I like 66% of this show. And even I can't really blame the filler episode, because you got to have some of those. You usually got to have a filler episode somewhere in a show. But, I don't know, it just felt... The finale just kind of ruined it for me. It felt like it was more of a setup for things to come and things like that, but I don't know. I'm really concerned about where the MCU is going to go now, because I think killing Iron Man in Endgame was like, that was your whole driving force of this universe. He started it. You think also he would probably end it. And I think now it's just going to be a lot of like experimenting, and like that's what these Disney Plus shows are doing, and I appreciate that. WandaVision did something completely different, which I really appreciated. I think they got to do a lot more experiment. I don't know. I think this phase is going to be very rocky with experimenting, but I don't know. Maybe with the experimenting of this phase, maybe I'll go back and watch this show, what the payoff is, and I'll enjoy it more. There's some Marvel movies. I didn't really like Captain America: The First Avenger the first time I saw it. But then after seeing how Captain America evolved throughout the series and his Endgame kind of finale with Peggy Carter, I went back and I watched First Avenger again, and I actually enjoyed it a lot more knowing the journey the character goes through. So with this setup and what's going to happen with it way down the road, and if it pays off, I could go back to this and enjoy it a lot more. And I do hope that's what happens. So with that final episode, I'm going to have a really hard time scoring this show, and I know it's going to be really tough, so I'm going to have to think about it. But like I said, I hope that watching the movies in the future, going back to this and seeing the setup for what they're going to do with Kang, and it looks like all the multiverse craziness, backtracking to this after like 5 more years of movies or whatever, I will enjoy this more. I hope that's what happens. So you know what? We'll see. But I got to review the show as it is right now, and I will give you my score. Here's my final verdict. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, here are my final thoughts. Although I do think Loki has a flawed final episode, I really enjoyed the build-up to it, and I really can't blame the show's ending for not factoring on my enjoyment of the previous episodes, and even Season 2 could make this up and reveal and like kind of show some interesting things that going back to this one, it made a lot more sense. So I will be fair. I can't go too low on this, and like I said, I really enjoyed most of it, so I gotta give it a fair grade. I would probably give WandaVision 3 out of 5. I would give Falcon and Winter Soldier a 2.5 out of 5. Loki, I'm probably gonna, although I didn't enjoy it as much, I will say this is my second favorite. I did enjoy WandaVision more, but I will say I am gonna give Loki a 3 out of 5. Because like I said, although I didn't like the final episode, I did enjoy everything that it built up previously. And I do have to appreciate it for that, although I do think the ending was a little bit just not what I expected and not what I think they should have gone with. But like I said, hopefully in the future they will elaborate on this more and kind of build it up more. That, like I said, like with the first Avenger, I didn't like it the first time I saw it, went back and enjoyed it more after seeing the evolution of that character. hopefully the evolution of where they're going to go with this will make me go back to this and appreciate it a lot more. I really hope that's what happens. So like I said, the future really tells for this one. I really don't have that much else to say about this one. I will say I do recommend watching Loki, especially if you're an MCU fan, and also all the other previous shows, even though I didn't like Falcon and Winter Soldier. I do recommend watching all of them if you're a true MCU fan, like myself who has seen all the movies. Okay, so that is it for my Loki review. I do want to say a couple other things to you guys. Number one, I am currently thinking about making a studio somewhere in my house. That would be a lot better than this area right over here, just my bedroom. Going to be like a kind of a podcasting setup and some movie posters on the wall. I'm going to change in and out. I'm hopefully going to start that soon. We will see. Also expect a lot more podcasts and stuff from me like that soon. I'm really hoping to start doing more podcasts and stuff like that, and videos and more. I'm also want to do some more essay-like videos and stuff like that. And I'm hoping that I'm going to start kind of rebranding this, not rebranding the channel name or anything like that, but kind of like restarting it, kind of giving it a new life and stuff like that. Also, I've been filming the Pop Culture Kid movie too. We haven't filmed as much as I've wanted to. I think we got to start. It's going to take a lot more time also with the Pop Culture Kid movie too. We really want to take our time on it to make it the best it could be. It's not going to come out until next year, I can tell you that right now. But I am really excited to just finally somehow get really rolling on that, get that done. Also, I will be reviewing Black Widow. I haven't seen it yet. I thought I was going to see it last week, and then something occurred. So I am going to see it this weekend. I will let you know my thoughts as a late review. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys next time. Bye.